Okay, so let's go ahead and get started sitting however you'd like. And we're gonna actually put your hands on your low belly and just settle into a nice full breath here. Feeling those low belly muscles activate. As you exhale, just give that gentle hug in towards your back with those lower transverse abdominal muscles. Really activating our second chakra today. You might even visualize at the very beginning of the class that flame color orange. And bringing in warmth. And perhaps setting the intention today of that heat or warmth, which also we call tapas, fire, and its energy. Energizing our practice today by strengthening your core. And we'll go ahead and relax your hands down. Let's release your chin down. And take any movement with your head that would feel good. So we want to make sure today that we're not overdoing the neck as we're doing our abdominal strengthening. Just releasing, pointed chin down to a shoulder, whatever feels good. Good, and we'll come back to the center. Inhale, ears over shoulders. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. I think Robin just joined us. Hi, everybody. And we're going to come over into table. And take your time, spread out those hands, knees under hips. And we'll start with our nice slow cat-cow. Excellent abdominal and back strengthening flow here. Breathing out, letting that head release down, tailbone release down. Moving through on your own speed, but really trying to contract the abdominals in your cat tilt. Back muscles, draw the shoulders down in your cow. Next time you move through that cat tilt, we'll hold that scoop, come up onto your fingertips, and really try to spread those shoulder blades apart. We'll move into child's pose, hips to heels. Take a few breaths. Good. And we'll inhale, come back into table. So thinking of our neck today, let's take a thread the needle pose. I know we're not super warm yet, but feel that chest open as you inhale, working the abdominal muscles as you exhale, right arm under left. And just take it easy. You could tuck the chin a little bit. But as you breathe out, really turn the chest, warming up the belly. And I'm keeping some weight down into this left hand. One more exhale. We'll press, inhale, come back up. And then we'll release. And just notice the difference in the shoulders. We'll take our second side. Big breath in, open. Exhale, thread the needle. One side might feel different. We've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings. That upper back gets really stiff and tight. Big breaths out. Using the obliques, we'll press through the right hand to come back up. And release. Good. So now feeling nice and open in the upper back. Let's get into our downward dog. Tuck both toes under. Let's come up and back. And just bend through one knee at a time, stretching out the back of the legs. Good, and then just maybe playing with stepping the feet wide. You could bend your knees, get into those outer hips, really pushing with your hands. Good, and we'll come back to the center. And just for fun, you can always opt for knees to the mat, opposite arm and leg. But let's try on our opposite arm and leg in downward dog. If you want, walk your feet a little closer to your hands, and that'll take the strain out of the wrist, because we're going to take your right leg up, cup that left hand. See if you can reach that left arm forward. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Push yourself up and back. And then we'll exhale, lower. Second side. So taking the time to lift those hips way up. That's going to take the weight out. Left leg comes up. Right arm is going to reach forward. Hugging into the center. Using those core muscles. One more breath. We'll exhale, release. Let's go ahead and slide through a mini vinyasa here. Plank or table. Lower all the way down. Inhale, gentle cobra. Squeeze those upper arms in. Exhale, release. We're going to come back up into table and take a nice child's pose. Release your wrists. Breathe out. Just feel settled and grounded. You don't have to balance here, so let everything drop. And then we'll inhale back through table. Exhale, downward dog. And now that we're nice and awake and warm, we're going to walk our feet up to your hands. You can bend your knees if you need to. Let's go ahead and reach for the back of the calves. Pull yourself into a strong Uttanasana, using the arms and your core strength to get right close to those thighs. One more breath. And then we'll bring the hands to the fronts of the shins. Press the shins back as you reach the crown of the head forward. Try to scoop those lower abs. And we'll do that 2 more times. Breathing out, squeeze in. Breathing in, extend the back. Good, last round. Really letting that head drop. Inhale, lengthen. And then we'll exhale, just come into any soft Uttanasana. You could sway or bend one knee at a time, getting into your outer hips. And just feeling that traction in your neck here. So we're going to bend the knees over the feet, round your back up, contracting your core. And when you get all the way up, roll your shoulders around. We're going to take a fun little balance here today. So let's go ahead and bring the big toes all the way together so you can really squeeze through your inner thighs. Feel your core and back active. We'll inhale, reach your arms out and up. And we're going to pull through the arms, press the balls of the feet down, and lift your heels up. Waking up the feet. Use the core to get some stability. We're going to hold 2 more breaths if you can. And then we'll lower the heels. Swan dive forward. Surya Namaskara A. Inhale, feel those back muscles. Exhale, we'll step back, plank or table. Lowering down. Inhale, heart lifts forward and up. And you can go slower if you need here. Come back up in one piece. Downward dog for 3 breaths. Good. We'll look up. Let's step up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, feeling those abdominal muscles squeeze in. Inhale. Exhale through the center. All right, feeling warmer. So we're going to get into a little warrior 3 here. Before we do, let's get our balance. So we'll take mountain feet. Let's start with the hands on the hips. You can feel your hips really even. Pick up your right heel and then knee coming into stork. So settling that right hip down. If you're ready, you can lift the arms up. But feel your belly and back work together. We're going to take 3 rounds of kicking back into Veerabhadrasana 3. Using your strong core and back, strong standing leg, and then inhaling, coming into stork. Please bend the standing knee to help you stabilize. Trying to move over in one piece. And that action in the inner thighs, hugging in towards the midline. Last round. From here, we're going to really pull through that heel and hands. We'll inhale, come back up, getting some good strength on that standing leg. And release. Roll the shoulders out. Let's just take an easy twist here. Letting those arms spiral. And it is kind of a big load in the lower back. So second side, if you need to, you can just come to a diagonal line here. Then there's less gravity pulling on that low back. Let's take our second round. Left heel's going to come up. Coming into stork, testing the balance, maybe seeing that drishti point right out at the horizon level. And then arms, optional to lift them up. When you feel ready, start to kick back. Using that strong belly to back action, hugging in and coming back into stork. 1 down, 2 to go. Really activating the hamstring as you move into that warrior 3. Last one. And then pull through the heel. We'll inhale, come back up. Good, let's release. This time just come right into Ragdoll Pose. Maybe if the neck got tense, nod your head yes or no, or add some gentle sways side to side. Good, and then we'll use your next inhale to round your back up. Rolling the shoulders. Okay, so let's come into eagle pose. We're going to take that variation of scooping in. It'll feel like a nice release, hopefully, for the lower back after our warrior 3. We're going to take your right knee up, cross that right knee over the left, and either park that ball of the foot or wrap. Left arm's going to come up, right arm's going to wrap around. And you can stay right here, squeeze the inner thighs, or use your core to scoop in. Elbows in towards your navel, breathing out. Rounding that upper back. It's a challenging balance, so you can focus on a spot in front of you. Last round, we'll inhale. Keep squeezing through the center. Release. Shake everything out. And notice if you're holding your breath in that scoop, keep the breath moving out to contract your abs. Second round, so we'll take this as your left leg up, cross and squeeze, or find that bind. Right arm, left arm's gonna come up. And we'll reach those hips back, bend the standing knee. Maybe scooping in. Opening that upper back and shoulders. If you want to bring your foot to the mat, you can use that to press down, activate the legs more. And that's grounding. And then we'll reach back up. Nice. Untie the arms. Shake everything out. We're going to move into a Surya Namaskara B, adding a warrior 2 after 1. So let's just get moving a little bit through the joints. We'll start in Utkatasana. Feel the lift off the lower back. Exhale, active core. Inhale. Exhale, step or jump back, plank or table to hover. Inhale, upward dog, so stretching out the core. Exhale, downward dog. We'll take that right leg up into warrior one. Feeling that space in the low back, opening the heart. From our one today, we're gonna open back leg and arms into warrior two. Pointing that tailbone straight down, reach through the back arm. One more breath, strong legs. We're gonna circle that back arm down, turn the right hip in, back to warrior one. Back through your vinyasa. Breathing out, plank, lift the belly up as you hover. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Second side. So planting that back foot, sweeping up Veerabhadrasana one, lifting off both hips. Exhale, open, warrior two. And feel that nice stretch in both inner thighs. Pull through that back arm. One more breath. When you're ready to come back into one, drop that back shoulder down, re-rotate inward. Back through your vinyasa, feeling the core lift up. And then either 3 breaths in downward dog or half dog. We're getting a nice flowing energy, building that tapas, that heat. After your next breath out, step or hop up, feet to hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. We'll inhale, come back through Utkatasana. Let's take an extra breath here for our twist. Left elbow to right outer thigh, press down, lift your heart up. And maybe float those wings open. We'll take it. Exhale, Uttanasana. Forward fold. Just release your head. Moving into our other side. So if this is feeling challenging, that means we need to get deeper into that core strengthening. This is your right elbow, pressing into that outer thigh, opening the heart, maybe opening the arms. And we'll exhale, release. Nice, let's just take it easy. Walk back into downward dog. Nice, and we'll bring knees down. Couple breaths in half dog or puppy dog. So hips are high. And just take a little break here. Good. And then we'll just come into child's pose. Arms can be wherever feels good for you. Good. I just have to do a quick little shift here because I was building some heat too. Tapasana. Okay. So thinking of our hamstrings and shoulders and getting into some prone core strengthening. Let's take dolphin pose. Reaching for the opposite elbows to measure that chest width. Interlace your hands. Stretch the back of the legs as you lift those hips up and back. And maybe if you have the space, you could walk a little closer. Use the core to deepen that forward bend. And head is off the mat here. Let it hang or look forward. But press the forearms down, lift the shoulders away from the ears. Last breath out. We'll take knees to the mat. Child's pose with your arms back by your feet. Good. And then let's go ahead and just come up to a seat. So here you're going to pace yourselves because we're going to do a couple different variations. We're going to start in your forearm plank so it's easeful for the wrists. Some of you might stay there instead of coming into our full plank, which will be our next variation, because we are going to lift one leg up at a time. So starting with the forearm plank, make sure again those elbows are not wider than the shoulders. Walking the feet back, bringing those hips down. And here, really press through the forearms and balls of the feet, lift the belly up. So if this is stable for you, maybe try lifting a leg up a few inches without lifting your hips up. And just a breath or two, changing sides, charging up those quads. We'll release knees to the mat, and let's just come all the way down to the belly. Take a break. You guys can see me okay? Melt your forehead down into your hands. Take a rest. Just 3 deep breaths here. And as we know, these planks and push-ups really make our bones nice and strong and hard. So supporting your own body weight is plenty. Using those core muscles to protect the integrity of your back. So we're going to come back up, either forearm plank, or some of us are ready to move into our full plank. Keeping the chest open, forearm or full plank, hips are lower than shoulders. So let me do a side view here. So trying not to let this happen. And then if you wish, try lifting a leg up without lifting the hips up. Keep reaching energy out of the very crown of the head. We'll change legs if you're lifting the leg up. Good, and let's release. Knees to the mat. We're going to take extended child's pose. Release those hips, release your back, release your core. Good, and since we're nice and warmed up, feeling the strengthening, the sthira of our practice, let's look at Vashistasana today. So again, forearm version, right forearm would angle, making a triangle with the top corner of your mat. Maybe you stay here with one hand on the mat. If you're ready, you would roll over to that same side foot, taking the arm up or overhead, maybe leg up. So that's on your forearm. Friends that can do it full, come into downward dog. And we'll again roll, same side foot as hands, keeping those hips high. You could stack a foot in front or behind. If you feel ready, you could take a top leg up, but really use your core here. One more breath. We're going to come back through the center to your other side. Active, active core. If you tend to fall back, stack your foot behind you. And then lift those hips up, up, up. Last 2 breaths. Maybe taking the leg up if you try that on the other side. We'll come back into downward dog or table. And then child's pose. Swirl out the wrists. And then we'll slowly come up to a seat. So if that Vashistasana is the hardest thing you do today, good for you. What a good use of your energy and your intention and your time, getting a nice strong arm balance in, fortifying through the core. So that said, we're going to try one little pendant lift here. Bring your hands by your knees, breathe out, lift one knee up, lift your other knee up, see if you can shift and lift your feet up, even just for a second. And then we'll release. And we finally get to have a seat. Lots of strong work in the core today. Let's interlace your hands, roll your wrists. No more arm balancing. Good, and then just shake out those hands and wrists, and we'll take head towards your feet. Release those inner hips and back. Welcoming in space and softness and ease. Good, and then we'll slowly come on up. So let's take it easy here. Shavasana A. Extend the left leg, bring your right leg in. You could use any props that would be interesting here to get that hamstring stretch. So we'll inhale, lengthen up. Try to find that back and core, pulling together. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, using the abs to get as close to the leg as you can. 3 breaths. And keep sending energy out of this left foot. Good, and we'll release, inhale, come on up. We'll pick up that knee, take your twist. So twisting towards the knee that's up, trying to lift in that lower back, hug that outer thigh in, and spiral. One more big breath out. We'll unwind, ribs, shoulders, head, reach forward, maybe just a leg lift. Maybe a shift and lift. Testing if we don't have to use the hands. Extra credit today. Good. We'll release. Shake it out. Yeah, but you're activating that Mula Bandha too, the pelvic floor. Let's take our other side. So for your hamstrings, lift off the hips, open that low back. Hinge. And then use your abs to get closer to your leg. Good, and let's use the inhale to come up, taking our twist towards the leg that's up. Really use your arm today to hug in, spiraling and opening the chest. We'll use our exhale to release, get taller out of the lower back. If you need to bring your hands to the mat, you can, or shift and lift that pelvic floor up. Breath or two, squeeze those inner thighs. Good, we'll exhale lower. Nice, you guys, let's shake it out. Okay, if you happen to have a block or a pillow even, or something that you can activate through between your hands, we'll grab your prop. We're gonna reach forward, Paschimottanasana. And staying active through the upper body, keep reaching your hands. Inhale, we'll come back up. Exhale, curl down. We're only gonna do 3. So you can really give it your all. Reach through those heels. Exhale. So here's where I was mentioning, do not overdo the neck. You can dip your chin in if that's starting to happen. 2 more. Slow and steady. Pressing those heels down. Pressing the low back into the floor as you come up. Maybe you have a tray of Valentine's Day chocolate dipped strawberries in your hands. You don't want to drop any. I got to have those. It was such a treat. Really good. I saved 2 for my children, but I ate all the other ones. So on your 3rd scoop down, we're going to put the chocolates over to the side and just take a rest. I'm going to turn sideways so I can see better. And if the neck got tight, you can turn the head side to side, whatever feels good. Relax your shoulders. And then we're going to take a nice long stretch here. So let's reach the arms overhead, that imaginary handstand. Pull your body long. I'm trying to lengthen my tailbone down between the heels. Opening the core. Good. And then we'll release. Let's lower the arms. And we're going to set up for our bridge. Really being specific today with not clenching the glutes, but using the back body, hamstrings to lift up, and core Setu Bandhasana. We'll engage the feet down, lift those hips up. And then feel long from the knees down to the shoulders. Use the abdominal muscles, scoop them in, slowly bring the hips down. Try not to overdo the glutes. They're gonna work a little bit for sure. 2 more rounds on your own speed. And I just use that inhale to float up. Exhale, wrap the abs, lower down. And to keep my neck and chest easeful. Last bridge. Knees are reaching straight ahead. Good. And we'll release. Beautiful. Let's take your knees into your chest. Any movement that would feel good. Massaging out the lower back. Good. And then we're going to hug those knees in, really squeeze. Let your tailbone lift up. Breathe out. Bring your head up to your knees. Hold for 1 breath. And we'll release. And open into happy baby. You could take one knee down to the mat or rock. Open those inner hips. Good. And then we're going to come back through the center in your happy baby. Keep your legs, but release your arms. Reach through the legs. We'll breathe out, scoop up. Reach a little higher with the right arm, a little higher with the left, a little higher with the right, a little higher with the left. And then release, elbows to the back of the thighs and knees. Press those thighs down. Getting into the inner hips. Good, and we're gonna do one more here. Soles of the feet are gonna come together, so let go of those knees. Wrap your hands around the outsides of the feet and press the thighs forward as you press your belly down. And the feet are pulling those shoulders down away from the ears. So long spine. Last breath out. We'll release. And we're going to take any twist that would feel good. So if your hips are feeling a little pinchy, opt for the windshield wiper twist. Just letting the legs flop, or hug the knees in. We're going to do a moving twist in a second. So this is just easy twist. Whatever feels good for you. Go to your second side if you're taking a slower twist. Good. And then we'll all come back up to the center. Let's go ahead and stretch out, reaching the feet forward, arms are overhead. Just to open one more time before we take our moving twist. Pull your body long. Good. And then just let everything turn in and out. Okay, so I'm going to gather a block. You don't have to use anything, but it really does wake up your inner thighs and pelvic floor for our moving twist. So I would put the block in between my knees and my shins, trying to line up knees over hips, right angle here at the hips and at the knees. If you don't have a block, you can still do it, but we're trying not to hug the knees in. And we'll take our legs a little bit over to the right or all the way down, which is harder because then you have to come up without hugging those knees in. And over to your left. Little bit or all the way. We're only gonna do 3 rounds. Squeeze through the inner thighs, press your belly down. And this is working those side oblique abdominal muscles. Good job trying to keep those knees right over the hips. Good, and we're trying to ease the shoulders down, last cycle. So I like to inhale as I lower, exhale as I lift up, scooping that tailbone long. Beautiful. And when you come up the next time, you can take your block away. Let's just lower those feet and come into Supta Baddha Konasana, relaxing those hip flexors. And feeling grateful for our strong core. Good, and then we'll move into our closing poses here. Lower that left leg long, hug your right knee in. We're gonna extend the right leg up. Imagine that you're climbing a tree. This is from Pilates here. Walk your hands up your leg as you bring your head up to your knee. And then we're gonna climb back down. Doing that 2 more times. Walking up the leg. Deepening that hamstring stretch. Climbing down. Last one. Try to come up to the treetop to your foot. We're gonna release shoulders and head. Arms reach overhead for our warrior 3 shape. Press your belly down and slowly lower the leg. Good. And just shake everything out. Second side. So the left knee is going to come in. And if your neck is getting tired, you don't have to come up as high. See if you can contract your core. 3 rounds of climbing that tree. Good, I'm staying strong in the bottom leg too, so I feel that scissor, and I'm already feeling my neck go a little bit. So maybe last round, just come up a little bit. And when you get down, reach your arms overhead, pull through that left heel, and lower the legs slowly down. Good, and we're just gonna let the legs turn in and out. Let's take a banana pose just to open the sides. We're gonna walk our upper body over to the right, grab your left wrist and pull. Walk your legs over to the right. And if you want, you could cross the right ankle over the left, but open the side. Letting the ribs and shoulder blades expand. You're trying your best to keep those hips flat on the mat, shoulders flat. Let's let go of the wrists, uncross your ankles. And we'll come back through the center, over to your left. So moving those shoulders as far as you can, grabbing the right wrist. Walk your legs over to your left. Maybe crossing left over right. And one hip might be more open in that outer hip. 3 big breaths. Beautiful. And then gently release wrists and ankles. Undo. Let's come back through the center. We're just going to do an easy constructive rest pose into Shavasana. So we'll bend the knees. Let's pigeon toe the feet, heels wide, really to open that lower back. And then we'll cross your arms to your opposite hand to shoulder. Breathe out. If you want, you could scoop up here, really open the shoulders. And just allow yourself to settle, opening the back. Maybe imagine your lower body like an empty pair of pants hanging over a hanger behind the knees. So the lower legs and calves are open. Thighs are open and long. And that waistband of the pants, the hips and lower back can just rest on the mat. And imagine your upper body like an empty button-down shirt with the sleeves folded across the chest. Smooth out any wrinkles in the back of the shirt. Soften the ribs to the front of the shirt. And if you're happy here in constructive rest pose, feel free to stay. It's very restorative. If you'd like to open the joints, just slide the arms down. Bring the legs back to parallel, extending into your Shavasana. And wherever you are, visualize your body made of light. Red glowing at the base, the tailbone and pelvic floor. Orange at your lower back. Yellow above the navel, between the ribs. Green at your heart center, glowing brightly out through the shoulders and arms. Turquoise blue at your neck. Deep indigo at the forehead. And purple at the top of the head. And I'll close the practice. Feel free to stay longer. Om Mani Padme Hum. Compassion to all sentient beings. Shanti. Peace. Namaste.